address Speaker Reverend Roger Gaikwad, presentations by Sister Rose Paite, Somang Aihi Rokhum, Lalvin Feli, and response by Dr. Rini Ralte. And most important of all, we have Reverend W.C. Kongvir, moderator of PCI with us this evening. I'm so happy that all of you are present for this evening's very important public hearing on human trafficking in Mizoram. I myself am not well versed, or not really well versed. I am least aware of the specific issues in the field of human trafficking as far as Mizoram is concerned. And I, with many of us, want to listen to all these learned speakers to tell us about the issues that the state of Mizoram is concerned about. And first of all, we all like to be conscientized on this issue, and then we also would like to see, especially as far as UCF and EI concerned, we would like to see the individual churches can in what way get involved, and how we can motivate our member churches in order that this issue is understood, and we are able to take effective action within our churches regarding this very important issue of human trafficking in Mizoram. These are the words by way of presidential address I would like to offer to all of you. Good evening, everyone, and I would hand over the mic to Mrs. Roslyn.
Thank you so much, Bishop Thomas, for the warm welcome extended to all the resource person and the viewers out here. Let us invite the Reverend Dr. Roger Gaikwad to give his keynote speech.
Thank you, Advocate Rosalind, and greetings to all. It's not a keynote address as such, it's an old note address. I have left Mizoram in 2010 and then been in Nagpur for long and now in Guwahati. But while we were there in Nagpur, we used to hear reports about girls from Mizoram being attracted to work in parlors in Goa and even in Nagpur. Girls who were attracted to work in parlors in Goa, Nagpur, and of course, as we have all seen in many airports, there are the massage parlors, and you would find a good number of Northeast girls working in those massage parlors. But then what happened? What happened to the girls in Goa? They were asked to go beyond what is understood as massage, to do things that were not appropriate. And they realized that this was not just an ordinary massage parlor, but it was a sex trafficking agency. And so these were problems which were faced by girls from Mizoram. I was with NCCI, and we have an organization in Chennai that is concerned with working for women and children. And this organization, the head of that organization, contacted me once saying that we have identified some 7 to 8 girls from Mizoram. They were caught by the police, and now they are asking us to help them. How can we get them back to Mizoram? So it is in this context that we discussed matters, and then this NGO, Christian NGO, they helped these girls to come all the way back to Mizoram. But when they reached Mizoram, the girls really didn't want to go back home. And it was with great difficulty that they were handed over to the police and the NGO left. Then again, having been here in Guwahati, I've heard the story of a 14-year-old girl who was again attracted to come to Guwahati. And without informing her parents, she came away. And then the parents and the relatives tried to locate this girl. They found out the woman who had brought her to Guwahati and impressed upon her that we need to get our daughter back. But this lady refused to entertain their request. Finally, the matter went to the police. The police from Mizoram came over. And for those of us who were in Guwahati, she was working in a place in Ulubadi in Guwahati, and she was rescued from there. So this is one dimension of human trafficking where Mizo girls have been trapped and have gone through a lot of problems. In some cases, Mizo girls have been attracted to life elsewhere and therefore got themselves into difficulties. That is one side of the story. The other side of the story is Mizoram is used as a transit state for human trafficking. And there have been reports over the last few years of Rohingya women who have been trafficked. They were brought in from Bangladesh, brought to Mizoram, and they were given documents which would enable them to enter Myanmar and proceed further to Thailand. So this is another scenario. Women from outside the state of Mizoram being brought into Mizoram as a channel to send them out via Myanmar. It's not only this case of Rohingya women who were brought in from Bangladesh to Mizoram and then taken over. There's a case of Nepali women. Nepali women who were brought down from Nepal, got to Mizoram, and then from Mizoram, their documents were ready and they were to be taken to Myanmar. So you see that there is this instance of Mizoram being used as a transit channel for people to be taken over for human trafficking. Now, we are well aware that there are several factors that are responsible for this situation in Mizoram. One is the porous international border which Mizoram has with Bangladesh and Myanmar. Mizoram shares 510 kilometers of unfenced international border with Myanmar and 318 kilometers of unfenced border with Bangladesh. So this is one factor that contributes to this trafficking. Another factor is that we have got people of the same ethnic group living across the border. They are there in Myanmar, they are there in Bangladesh, and therefore this same ethnicity becomes a channel for people to bring in women from outside or take women from inside Mizoram to other places. There's a third thing that has happened is that borders are open and therefore we get women, particularly from Myanmar, to work as domestic servants, and they come as domestic servants in Mizoram and perhaps they are taken out, and then they are also drug peddlers and then commercial sex workers. So this infiltration of people from other countries into Mizoram because of circumstances that are there in Myanmar or Bangladesh, this also becomes a factor that gives rise to human trafficking. And then, given the circumstances, there are agencies which provide a decent job outside Mizoram, when we were in Nagpur, one of our old family friends, he were talking to her, and then she by the way said, I am engaged in an agency. What agency is that? She said, I am engaged in an agency workers from Mizoram. Profit, but then she was supplying domestic workers to Singapore. So this is a problem of recruiting young Mizo youth with a promise to give them a decent job outside Mizoram and even challenges of how do we respond Mizo Association appointing a study team. The Young Mizo Association is an important, very significant social body in Mizoram, and they appointed a committee to study this phenomenon of human trafficking that was happening in Mizoram. And they wanted to take steps to see that something should be done to stop this. Then, of course, the government, the police force, has established anti-human trafficking units in Mizoram. And so there is a state nodal unit under CID crime, which addresses this issue of human trafficking. It's interesting that last year there was an important book that was published, written by Dr. P.M. Nair, and it was published by the Bureau of Police Research and Development, Ministry of Home Affairs. It was published in January 2020, and the book is entitled Investigating Sex Trafficking, a Handbook. And this is quite an exhaustive book which deals with issues of concepts, the indicators of sex trafficking, the contextual understanding of laws, rulings, and administrative orders in respect of sex trafficking, then how sex trafficking has to be investigated. Another chapter deals with victim care, case management, and support to prosecution. And then a sixth chapter deals with skilled investigation in sex trafficking crimes. So this is an important handbook. And so there are resources that are helpful in addressing this issue. Apart from that, we have got NGOs that are concerned with this issue. Of course, I was looking up the list of NGOs. We've got about 70 NGOs in Mizoram. But I was looking at their speciality. Maybe this list is old. It does not mention the speciality of any particular NGO which is dealing with sex trafficking. They're talking about family welfare. They're talking about NGOs would be addressing this issue. And then the government Women and Child Development Scheme of Ujjwala. Ujjwala is also a scheme for preventing trafficking and helping in rescue, rehabilitation, and reintegration of victims of trafficking and commercial sexual exploitation. So there are so many possibilities. The question is about the church. How is the church engaged with this issue of human trafficking? Is something I would be interested to hear about, besides updating myself on the challenges of human trafficking in Mizoram. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Roger. That was quite an input, especially the Mizo people have the tendency of working as with these people because of trying to, how do I put it? Because of financial problem mainly, especially those from the rural areas have been trafficked. And like you have mentioned, Dr. Roger, Mizoram is has shared international border with Myanmar and Bangladesh. So these two borders, like I've mentioned, there are 380 kilometers, and this border need to be closed by the government. I think we should send a legal representation on this so that this border can be closed. That is one point which I have. And with regards to this NGOs, 70 NGOs we have, but none really, this is very sad that none has worked mainly for the traffic victims. So I want to know what the church have to say on this. We have Dr. Santiago and Father
Jaisilen.
Father Jaisilen has also joined. I also want to hear their input, what the church have done so far. And with regards to this CID crime branch, they have a record, like I have said, 20 plus human trafficked victims. And in 2003, 2004, 5, 6, like that, we don't have a record of human trafficking. But last year, like I have mentioned, we filed a criminal complaint for one girl who was a victim of human trafficking. So court, and plus, like Dr. Roger have mentioned, some are left unrecorded, and some does not want to enroll themselves in the Mizo Welfare Society also. And like you have mentioned, with this military coup that started from February 1st, so many Burmese people have entered Mizoram. Like I have mentioned in our previous meeting also, according to the NGO for Democratic Myanmar, 35,000 people have entered Mizoram. According to NGOs, 45,000 have entered Mizoram. According to government, 15,000 have entered Mizoram. But previous day, I got this one from CID that 6,765 like that have entered Mizoram. So our records is different. Government record is different. NGO record is different. Those people who are working for this asylum seekers, it's different. So we actually also don't know the exact figure of how many people have entered so far, because that's the record we have. It's all different. And this recruitment to Singapore, like this Mizo people, let me just say, we just saw a fact or a pattern. We don't have a pattern to perceive things without giving much thought about the credibility or the reliability. And in order to be comfortable with our means of livelihood or to stay away from our deep water crisis, they just, whoever is giving them, approaching them to give work, entertainment, they just follow them without giving much heed of the consequence that's going to happen to them. So that is the area where we need awareness also, okay, especially in the village area, because these traffickers, they target mainly the village people. Okay, I'm not saying that it's not happening in the rural areas, but this trafficking is more in the rural areas. That's why I'm mentioning that. And with our financial difficulties, we may have, I cannot say we may have, also we are a prey to the people involved in this trafficking. So I think we will learn more from our resource persons. We shall call Sister Rose Paite to give her presentation, a speech. Sister Rose.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Roslin. This evening, I'm not prepared to present it technically through PowerPoint presentation and so on due to lack of time. But as you know, I'm a grassroots worker. I will speak in the context of my own experience. And the topic mainly will highlight the vulnerability of adolescent girls to human trafficking in Northeast, with specific focus on Mizoram. Whatever I know and I would speak about Mizoram would also apply to the rest of Northeast. Of course, little different and slight difference in Assam. First of all, why are our people trafficked? While working for the Adivasi community, I also challenge them saying, why is Mizos, Nagas, and other people not trafficked, and why Adivasi girls trafficked? But today, I'm also confronting the community of Mizo people, saying, why are Mizo people, Mizo young girls trafficked? According to my analysis, I feel number one is due to lack of good educational facilities in the remote villages. We say 100% or 90% literacy rate, but where is the education in Mizoram? Remote villages where there is no proper school, where there is no proper teacher, how can the young girls or the young boys pass matric to pursue their future? This is a big question mark. And second is broken marriages. Huge number, easily broken marriages. Who is responsible for this? Is it the church? Is it the family? Is it the tribe or the clan? Who is responsible? Or is it the modernity of today's time? Third is traditional agro-based farming, not attractive to young people today. The technique is not improving, but the work is the same, and all young boys and girls are exposed to modern technology, media, and so on. So these are all push factor leading to young girls, especially adolescent girls, into trafficking. The consequences is huge. We know that. I will narrate one small story whom I interviewed and have looked after and took care of her. Her story goes like this. She was a small girl with a brother. Her father and mother separated. Then she and her brother lived with and he was for days, and finally they found him. He lived for 18 days and he expired. After 1 month, the mother, who went to another village to marry someone else, came back and took away all the property, leaving these 2 children, I don't know in whose hand. That was how the girl narrated to me. Then she thought, how do we survive like this? So what is asking her or pushing her to go to Aizawl in search of job? First of all, poverty. Then she did not go to school, and her parents separated, and there's no one to take care of them. So she left in good hand her brother, and she proceeded to Aizawl. And there she, on the only work she can get is domestic work. And there was no contract, no one to speak for her and negotiate for her salary, and whether the family is good or bad or what type of work she would do, there was no contract written, not even oral. She just could get inside that house and started working. Of course, orally they said, we will pay you 500 per month. But after 2 years of working, she wanted to go home to see her brother. She was given only 2,500. Where was the rest of her staying in? Because city life is again different. Then when she came back, she thought this working in as a domestic worker is not so nice because it's not fetching more money. So she started to buy small started selling some landscape of Mizoram, how many steps she has to climb and go down. So at the end of the day, she used to be very exhausted, and she said this is very tough job and very little commission she would get. So one fine evening, she was just wondering what to do. Sympathetic. Situation, because of her situation, she just narrated her condition. And this boy said, follow me, just come after me, I'll show you, find a solution for him. They went right down, they walked for some distance. He pushed her into a house where there was one Mason from Karimganj, and they exchanged some money, and then she was locked in. Then she cried, saying, that was the night my virginity was sold. She cried on my lap. And then then after that, she fought for it for herself, but said, already I paid. So after that, she got her share of 500 rupees and went home. But the next day, she thought, oh, one night getting 500 is quite good. So she started looking for such chances till she became a sex worker, addicted to drugs and alcohol. Then she was also peddling drugs. And then she got infected with HIV. Finally, she came to my center with 5 months old baby in her stomach. That was her story. There will be many stories of such kind. Now we can analyze what is leading to where. Today, the girl is still alive, the daughter is good, and they are happily doing normal job and earning their livelihood. Okay, she fought it and she overcame. But most of the girls whom I looked after as drug addict or sex worker in some 10 years ago, they were rural girls, drop out from school and do not want to work in the field, coming to the city, not able to earn a normal livelihood and getting into domestic work, and domestic work being not regulated by government is always a cheap labor, and then that leading to such type of situation. And that girl did not get trafficked, but she was trafficked by various social evils. How many girls have been trafficked? I have looked after some rescued girls from Delhi who were trafficked by Mizo lady. And out of 4 of them, now only 1 is alive. All died of HIV. That is the situation. Now, in our context, where do we look for help and solution? Mizoram and in Northeast. I think unless the community is involved, unless the community participate, unless the community is aware and get educated, nobody is coming from outside to solve our problem. Last time when I gave little sharing, I talked about prevention, I talked about rescue, I talked about rehabilitation. Now, for us Christian communities, whether we are Baptist or Presbyterian or Catholic or Seventh-day, whatever may be, our structure is very good to be involved in the community to prevent human trafficking. And what all of us can do is prevention. Rehabilitation, all cannot do. There'll be some people who can do. Rescue is very tough. It involves so many expertise. And finally, we lose the battle. But prevention strategy is workable by all. And I would just tell you how I do, so that you will understand that it is not so difficult. It is very easy, provided we are focused. Number one, to create awareness to local stakeholders, local organizations, like in the context of Mizoram, first of all, YMA and church members. This awareness and the danger of girls going to cities and getting trafficked and sexually exploited can be talked from the pulpit, can be talked from the altar. Every reverend, every priest, every pastor can address this issue. If we don't address in the church, that we are missing, or we are losing the best chance, because that is where we find all our people available, and they are meant to listen. They are meant to listen, priests and pastors and the preachers. So they will listen. And so those awareness should come from the church or authorities, and then the message will go from them. And then working with the local organization like YMA, then every village has welfare society or something, and the women organization, the youth organization, these are platforms where we can create awareness. Now, after having become aware, how do we get that strategy, or how do we strategize to prevent human trafficking? I'm trying in Assam. It is working to some level, but we still need to journey and achieve some more. Like every organization like YMA can become a task force. Now, from village, because in Mizoram, in every village there is YMA unit. If the YMA and the village council says all young boys and girls who are going out of Mizoram should register how they are going, where they are going, for what they are going. No, we cannot prevent and stop anyone from migrating, but we can guide them and teach them how to migrate safely, take a safe journey, and a happy stay there where they are going. That means earn well in a safe working environment and come back home safe. This should be our strategy. So the village council and the YMA, if they make a policy saying that all those who are going out of Mizoram, even for education or for work or for anything, let them register. By registering, we come to know that their detail, their phone number, and also there should be pre-departure guidelines, a kind of instruction from this unit that they know whom to call. Somebody in Delhi or somebody in Mumbai or anywhere where they go, they know whom to contact if they're in danger or in difficulties. We are teaching our girls even where to keep their money, how much to keep with their body, how much to keep with their in their bag, in their suitcase, different place, and even to write in somewhere hidden in their body the most important phone number. For example, if they are caught somewhere unknowingly, or they chance upon some trafficker and they are locked inside the house, or they are in the jail, at least with that phone number, through somebody, even sometimes the duty person, the person who is on duty, can even pass on the phone. They can inform home or somebody who are very close to them. So we come to know where they are about. So these are called small tips of departure guidelines, pre-departure guidelines. Then safe migration guidelines we must constitute, we must develop, and it should be given to everyone. This type of intervention, this type of awareness can be done in all tribal setup because we are the most well-organized people. In that way, no girls, no boys will be trafficked purposely. Sometimes misfortune can happen, that is another thing, but we can always prevent unsafe migration and further trafficking. And so network prevention should be done through networking and collaboration with community. Even rescue should be done through networking and collaboration with community. Even rehabilitation can be done. It is not difficult. What we are doing is now, I'm networking with ASA. ASA means All Adivasi Student Association of Assam. Everyone is my networking partner. Everyone know my name, and they know that we have to protect Adivasi girls from being trafficked. So we are working in 50 villages, and these 50 villages again stretch out to another 50 villages through the network of this student group. And now they became aware, and if there is any news that these many girls are going to so and so place, they immediately will get into the railway officer, and so from somewhere they will be brought back. And if any girl is in trouble, they will call them, and they will go through the process. And another is very good network we have to create with law enforcement departments, especially the CID crime, anti-human trafficking unit. You know, there will be so many people who can play the key role. When the real problem comes, when you will most need, everyone withdraw. That is my experience. So before getting into the need of rescuing someone, prevention is better. So prevention is easier. I'm preventing girls through vocational training. I'm preventing girls through networking. I'm preventing girls through skill training and various interventions. And one very important, which is very useful and important, is to have a transit center. From village to city, one transit. From another village to another village, kind of intervention, but in the city, there should be a transit center. Now, from Manipur, from Mizoram, they come to Guwahati to fly off or to go by train. Where do they go? Where do they have someone who can help them out with ticketing or with guiding where to go, what work to pick up, and whether the agency is okay or not. So this providing transit facilities is very important. Going somewhere and proceeding to somewhere, coming from somewhere and proceeding to somewhere. That transit facilities can be in any city. And that's not, we don't need a very big setup. one room is enough to organize. We need 1 or 2 personnel. And the youth, the church youth themselves can do this one in turn. It can run through voluntary service. Now, the next one is, if we want to really prevent human trafficking, we must work for legislation of domestic workers. Unless we ensure decent work for domestic workers, and the girls will be always exploited. Exploitation will lead to being trafficked further. And so the church, the community, and the government have to come together and regulate and work towards domestic work legislation. When I say domestic work legislation, domestic work should be considered as any other work. We are observing today, or this week, from 10 to 16, Domestic Workers Week, 10 to 16th. And yesterday we launched the week, means, we started observing yesterday. And our theme is like this. One second. Yeah. Our theme is making decent work a reality for domestic workers beyond COVID-19. And today, as our advocacy message, we came out with a message that if this work, if this is decent work, means air hostess work. Air hostess are working in the aeroplane, and what did they do? They were serving, cleaning, clearing up, putting order, managing the whole flight. And what is a domestic worker doing at home, in the house? Same thing. So if this is decent work, then why not this? Domestic workers are also workers. Respect their rights too. So making decent work a reality for domestic workers beyond COVID-19. This is necessary because, as I said last time, 50% women workforce belongs to this category. And if we neglect this category of workers as a woman, which means there is no respect for women. Women's rights are not respected. Not to be considered as a worker is to be considered as a slave. Slavery is abolished long ago in the world, but in our society prevails. We make people, we employ people as slaves. I said cheap labor, because there is no contract. There is no legislation. There's no minimum wages. If you want, you can pay more. If you want, you can pay less. You can use her because she needs that work to survive. Now, because of COVID, this trafficking is going to go in a huge way because of the Myanmar refugees and the COVID impact, because of the COVID impact. And this second wave, especially of the pandemic, has left people struggling. Family income is just hanging by a thread. But most importantly, all hope for education is lost. All hope for education is lost. 10 million girls are at risk of never returning to schools. Okay, the effect of COVID-19 crisis has put the promise of education for all. Sustainable goal, no? Sustainable goals is education for all, but this is a far dream now. The promise of education for all is a jeopardy now, no? Because girls are always seen as weak or a burden in the family. They are the first ones pushed into work, sold to the highest bidden or married to the cheapest. A life without education for a girl is a life without any rights. We should not allow anyone to drop out of school, because drop out of school means domestic work. That's the only job they can get. And therefore, nobody should be in any parish, in any of your pastorate, no? Because I am from a Baptist background. I was a Baptist convert, so I know how you function also. So in any of your work area, in any of our work area, let us say there should be no dropout girls. Dropout girls, because village life is not attractive, go to the city, take the cheap labor, and that cheap labor income is not enough, and get into other social evils and end up with trafficking or even HIV. So this is the logic. So I mean the consequences. So therefore, we have to simply say no girl should be dropped out from school. So every village can ensure that, no? Every family should ensure that, support each other. In a tribal society, it can happen. In Assam, we are trying so hard. No, our sisters are going and searching which girl did not pass matric, and they are bringing to our vocational training center, and we are trying to skill them or mainstream them to NIOS. So therefore, girls' future is ensured, so that there will be no trafficking in our country. Then we must work also with placement agencies, especially illegal placement agencies. We have to work with our own people are trafficking, taking our people and selling and earning money. That we should not be ashamed to say, and we should prevent these illegal placement agencies. I think I'll be too long, and more questions I can answer, and I hope something I have communicated through my own experience and finding out means and ways and strategies to respond to the situation. And there is unlimited ways of addressing this issue. And if we join hands together, we can do it. It's enough to make a policy and pass on to the churches and to, villages, and make it a priority concern. Then we can work out. That prevention part is more crucial because rescue is difficult. Rehabilitation, somehow we are tribal to manage it. So I hope we will work together, and let us really fight that our Northeast girls should not go to Delhi cheated and exploited. I know several girls. How can they survive? If they're in Mizoram, they are okay with 8,000 rupees. No, they are not okay with 8,000 rupees. They want to go to Delhi and earn 10,000 rupees, but 10,000 is not enough. They need additional income. And where do they get additional income except from sex work? And later on, they are sex traffic, become victims of sex traffic and exploited in various ways. Before they know that they are into danger, they are already swimming in the hot water. So let us really join hands together and work towards this and protect our girls, the future of our state, our country, our Northeast. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Rose Paite, Sister Rose Paite, sorry. The factors which you have mentioned, lack of educational facilities, very true. Right now also we are facing this online examination. Forget about online examination and online classes. There are some people who doesn't even possess a phone also. So there is very unlike chance of girls or boys being trafficked coming from a broken family or who are uneducated. Okay, so one of the factor leading to this trafficking is the broken marriages. That also is very true. And this in this generation, this youth, they are no longer interested in working in a farm. So they are more exposed to this uh, whatever this media is offering. So they are more attracted to that. They are no longer interested in working in this agro-based farming. So that is one of the factors leading to this trafficking also. And with regards to the YMA, I think they played a very important role. But one experience is that Mizo people are so lethargic. Okay, we don't want to educate ourselves. Like we went to the village, we give awareness, we sent out pamphlets, we sent out reading materials. They come there, they use the pamphlet and the sitting material to sit on it. They go back without taking that paper with them. So they don't want to read. So we are quite lazy. That is a problem also. So I'm just saying from my experience. So in the church also, I think what Sister Rose has mentioned, we need to give awareness in the church, in the altar, the priest, the elders, uh, what do we call?
The catechist.
Pastors. Yes, catechists also. They can impart this knowledge to the people in the church. This is very important. And this transit centers, this is also a must, like Sister Rose has mentioned, the Mizoram house is not enough at all. So thank you so much, sister. It was, and the meaningful quotes which you have given us, they are quite effective, very powerful. Thank you so much, Sister Rose. We will call our, invite our next speaker, Dr. Zong Mangayi Rokum. Zong Mai, please, you're on.
Thank you, moderator. I'm not practically involved in the issue of human trafficking and have no experience of direct dealing with the issue like Sister Rose. But all of us, we heard a lot about the vulnerabilities of women, especially the younger ones and girl child. And my concern is about the importance of creating an awareness among the people, especially among the poverty-stricken family. There were times here in Mizoram, we came across about the advertisement of employment abroad or metropolitan cities, which does not mention much about the type of work or service they require clearly. Therefore, I would like to share my experience, my acquaintances with young girls or young women working abroad. I'm going to share my experience in three ways, three incidences. And the first one is once when we were on our way to Seoul, South Korea, we met a group of young girls, 4 or 5, in Calcutta airport. They were heading for Singapore. Made at the airport. They approached us and we sit with them and we inquired about them. They said that they were from Champhai, the border town of Mizoram with Myanmar. They also mentioned that they were sent through an agency operated in Aizawl. They will be received by their agents at Singapore airport. We check on their flight timings and telling them what to do. And after they left, I keep on thinking about them, whether they are going to reach safe and sound and work as they are dreaming of. It seems like they were fully dependent upon the agency with no doubt. And for me, it was too risky and not safe for our children. And the second thing that I want to share with you today is I attended a program in Singapore. One evening after the end of the program, we went out for shopping. In that particular evening, we went to a big shopping mall for electronic goods called Simlim Square. Well, I was sitting in the aisle sitting in a restaurant in front of us, and the young girl with the baby sit near to me. When I look at her face cut and the way she dresses, she looks like Mizoram. Kapunda salutka Mizowi Nilo Minti Khan. I was surprised when you were asking me, are you Mizo? I chat with her and inquire about her life as housemate in Singapore. The agency cut off her travel expenses were being retrieved. She is not allowed to leave whether she is comfortable or not. She looks after the baby and any other household works. And when I asked her about her life, she ate whatever she could, and her life is quite good. And she also mentioned that she is not allowed to use her mobile phone very often, but once in a month, she can have a chance to meet with her friends. Her salary is quite good for uneducated like her, but she mentions that the work itself is very tough. And thirdly, when I was on my way home from Myanmar to India through land transit, I traveled with two Mizo girls coming home from Kuala Lumpur. They entered Malaysia with holding Myanmar passports. They can speak Burmese. They have to pay certain amount of money at the checkpoints like other foreigners within Myanmar, but they have Myanmar passport. In Malaysia, they were Burmese, but in Myanmar, they were not Burmese. They work there as beauticians, working in a beauty parlor, and it seems like the salary itself is quite good. They were more mature than my previous acquaintances, and being a professional, they don't want to share much about their experiences. I try to uh, I try to learn their experiences, but they don't want to share much about it. And my acquaintances are women who are younger. My overall mood is good. It's it's these girls have experience with consequences. And according to me, more awareness is needed. Whether the agencies are reliable or not, we could have done. On the other hand, we must aware that there are some fake agencies who could have turned our life upside down into the web of human trafficking. Let us prevent our children from trafficking. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zongmei Rokum. Uh, you have mentioned that a group of people have reached Singapore and that it is. I also wonder how there is a easy access. As soon as they reach Myanmar, there is an easy access to this passport because many Mizos have entered through that channel, like Singapore, working in beauty parlors, spa. I think they have an easy access of passport with regards to this. I'm also wondering on whom you have these girls whom you have come across in this Kuala Lumpur. Some of these traffickers, because of this stigmatization from the society, I think they don't want to disclose themselves as being trafficked also. I feel like that because much awareness is needed to the society because being stigmatized by the society is also a huge problem for them. Thank you so much, Dr. Zomai. For our last speaker, Ms. Larin Feli, advocate, on to you.
Thank you, our moderator, Miss Rosalind. My topic will be mainly on the human trafficking that has happened. We can say that recently, most recent in the context of Mizoram. First of all, let me highlight a bit about this human trafficking. The human trafficking, as we know, is one of the second biggest crime activity and also the fastest growing in the world. And no country is free from this criminal activity. And it has begun in our state, even in Mizoram, since 2000. And among these, children and women were or has become an easy prey to this crime, and these innocent victims were lured to work in hotel, beauty parlors, spa, resort industry, airlines security agency, call center, and many others. These traffickers often conceal themselves and use different kinds of techniques to lure these innocent victims and target women and children between the age of 12 to 22 years. And by advertising themselves as the placement, what we call the job agency, to give training or send them to institutions and to work in these hotels, spa, and beauty parlors, and many more. And these victims are mainly from the poorer sections of the society, as we all know, and their parents have readily agreed without proper information being furnished to them because they believed it as a means to overcome poverty. And there were different types of human trafficking. And let me point out 11 types of human trafficking: trafficking for forced labor, trafficking for sexual exploitation, child labor, sexual exploitation of children in tourism, forced begging, trafficking for tissue, cell, and organ removal, forced marriage, trafficking in domestic work or domestic servitude, child soldiers, trafficking in fishing, people smuggling, poverty, and global trafficking. From the legal perspective, this criminalization of human trafficking also requires elements. Number one is the attempts to commit a trafficking offense. Number two, participation as an accomplice in such an offense. And number three, organizing or directing others to commit trafficking. In the context of Mizoram, as this one is popular, I think we are quite familiar with this case. On October 2010, 4 victims from Mizoram and 7 victims from Nagaland were rescued from sexual slavery by the Mizoram police with the help of the NGO from Lotus Beauty Classic Parlor, Panjim, Goa. And on June 2011, 4 Mizo victims were also rescued from Indranagar, Juhu, Tara Road, Santa Cruz, Mumbai. However, there were number of cases that were not informed to the authority concerned, maybe due to the fear of facing intimidation, shame, victimization, and many go unrecorded, and 4 deaths of victim involved in human trafficking. Human trafficking has been acknowledged and recorded from the year 2000 with regards to Mizoram. Between 2000 till 2017, 22 cases has been recorded. with 34 number of victims, 34 number of victims and 47 number of accused, except for the year 2003, 2006, 2007, 2013, 2014, and 15. There were no human trafficking cases recorded so far, and human trafficking case can be registered under the Immoral Traffic Prevention Act 1956, Amended Act 2006, and also under Section 370A of the Indian Penal Code. And depending upon the nature of the offense committed, more charges can be leveled under the IPC. Uh, in Mizoram, there are 7 police stations, and Aizawl police station has recorded 10 human trafficking cases. Aizawl police station has recorded 10 human trafficking cases. Vivacon police station and Bongkon police station has recorded 4 cases each. Kozol, Kulikon, Nathial, and Sampai. Kozol, Kulikon, Nathial, and Sampai has recorded 1 each case. Um, The superintendent of police, that is the CID crime, was appointed as the state anti-human trafficking nodal officer on 2nd November 2010. All subdivisional police officer SDPO were appointed as special police officer within the respective jurisdiction to deal with offences under the Immoral Traffic Prevention Act. In Mizoram, this R2 anti-human trafficking unit has been established in Aizawl, Lunglei, Kolosip, and Sampai districts. But till today, Mizoram has not yet possessed a particular helpline for human trafficking. If any person is believed to be having a problems relating to this human trafficking, every police station, including uh, women helpline number 181 and child helpline number 1098, can be informed and reported such incidents of human trafficking. As our moderator has highlighted that we have one recent trafficking case out here in Mizoram. She was this victim by the time she was 7 years of age. She was raped by her neighbor. During that time, when she was only 7, an FIR was lodged and the matter was handled by the court. But the accused was put behind bars, and during this process, an aid was given by a very popular social activist out we have out here in Mizoram. Her name was Miss Vandam Chuangi, who is also known as Ratfelano. And this victim, the second rape, the incident took place when she is only about 12 years of age by her uncle, that is from her maternal side, and she was raped 4 times as per her recollection. And the last incident took place at the age of 14 years by her stepfather, and she was raped 6 times by her stepfather. And that due to this incident, she started to drink alcohol at the age of only 14 years, and she tried to commit suicide because of depression and anxiety disorder. Uh, she was kept at different homes so that she could be what she could manage, or she could um, pull herself together. But uh, sometimes she ran out of that home, and this was she was kept in one of the home in Mizoram. By the time she ran out uh, from that home, and that was the time where she met with this trafficker. Um, the trafficker rent a small house in one locality in Mizoram. Then there she stayed with the trafficker for 8 days. That by the time she was with her friend, one of her friend, but her friend till today her whereabouts were not known. And she was the trafficker also sleep with her several times, and also sometimes force her to have sexual intercourse with 3 men. And the most tragic part is that due to this forced sexual labor, she has contracted HIV positive. We came to know this incident, this human trafficking incident took place from her recollection. It took place around in the year 2017, by mid of 2017. And we came to know her visitation because under human rights law network, our moderator and our office, we used to visit different districts, all the homes and all the centers, and from that we came to know her, and then by persuading her, now we are filing a case in the district court, and the case is now still in process. And she even told us that there might be around 50 victims whom the trafficker used them for business or prostitution. And after filing an FIR and lodging an FIR, there I was there. And I was also there when we first approached her. We interviewed her several times. Um, she even told us that she wanted to file the case because she wanted to set an example. She wanted to be an example for others, so that others might have these precautions. Other might be cautious from her story, which is a very tragedy. And I was also the witness in the police station, women police station here out here in Aizawl. I give my statement, and now the case is still proceeding. All the necessary investigations, the medical investigations has been done, and now we are still tackling with the case. That is all with regards to the context of Mizoram, that the human trafficking we have made so far. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Rinfeli. It was a very informative input. Thank you so much. I think what we need, according to that different types of trafficking she has mentioned, I think we need to have more awareness. Like we used to say, education starts from home. We really need to educate these parents that we cannot send them off without getting much information from these people who place themselves as a job agency. That is the main reason, I suppose, that these rural areas have been, especially the poorer sections of the society. I think we need to give more awareness on these people. Thank you so much, Ms. Lalrin Feli. Father Tom, is the floor open for interaction, question and answer from anyone?
Can we hear from Dr. Rini and then open for the interaction? I think that may be fine. Huh? Dr. Rini, can we hear also from Dr. Rini and then open the house for some time for questions and answers?
Okay, yeah. Okay, Father Tom. Dr. Rini Ralte, we want to hear the response which you have from the three resource persons we have. On to you.
Good evening, everyone. Today, me and actually Roslyn are very nervous whether we can have substantial, satisfactory cases. Of course, we know it very well. We are very familiar. This is our 14 or 17 times of session, but still, we are also wondering because we are also acknowledging the very fact that our limitations in various ways. So responding to the several inputs, starting from Reverend Roser itself and then Roslyn, as well as the three speakers, I think they have done enough. Their knowledge are abundant. Their experience are amazing. So they are speaking from their own experiences, their own witnesses. So those are very, very real. So what shall I add to that moment? Because my 27 years of living in Bangalore itself, particularly holding Notice Helpline from 2012, 9 years now. Yeah. So I'm still holding the helpline phone number. So our helpline phone is ringing every hours or every day. So therefore, it is a big concern for all of us that when this helpline phone stop ringing. So this is a real situation now. From this onwards, initial steps are already made. But where do we go from now? How do we progress ourselves, our state? How do we promote how do we strengthen our networking together? For example, as far as Bangalore is concerned, I am not worried that much because there are many NGOs. I'm networking with them. Many lawyers are known to me. But I am concerned about other cities, like it's echoing. Can you hear? It's echoing. I think
Yes.
some of us.
It's okay now, Miss Dr.
Okay,
Rini.
okay. Now it stopped. I'm little more concerned about other big cities like Mumbai, Delhi, Hyderabad, Chennai, Calcutta, and all. So therefore, I think that number one response is that how do we strengthen the networking in the big cities, that is outside of northeast areas. Second thing is that even in our northeast area, I think that because of this regular meeting of human trafficking, we are not only talking about human trafficking alone, but we're talking so many other things. We are talking about poverty, we are talking about education, school dropout, vulnerability of minority communities, so many other things. Today we are concentrating on Mizoram. Our cases, we have not touched even the minority communities. Bru, Chakma, Nepali communities have not been addressed at all because it has not come to the surface so far. So I would like to propose something where we can make a little progress. For example, while I was in Bangalore also 3-4 times, uh, Mizoram police rescue people from different states. One of them is Bangalore. At that time, it was a Chakma girl of 15 years. And then we rescue her in a very mysterious way. And I was also part of that very dangerous area. But to rescue her, to take her back, there are 5 police inspector down the line came to arrest the culprit as well as to rescue her. I'm wondering because the boss inspector was flying, the other 4 plus the rescue lady plus the culprit, all other 6 are traveling by train. They are staying in a hotel arranged by the government, of course. But the expenditure was so huge. If Bangalore expenditure can be made use of prevention, like Sister Rose has mentioned that prevention is possible. How can we do that? So that is only one example I can give you. The second thing is that how do we proceed further when Sister Rose was proposing, and in fact, she gave us a copy of the domestic workers policy, national policy. I study and I find it very, very fascinating. In that, most of the things we are addressing are included if we have that one. if we have a policy on domestic workers. For example, employment itself, training, awareness, and then salary, prevention, and then also problems related to, and then support system, so many other things. And above all, one problem we find out is lack of coordination. For example, sending agency and receiving agency. So in this COVID time, I think we can take an opportunity advantage also, that somehow we are barricaded with locality. I cannot go to another locality without the permission of local task force. And people cannot visit me also. I cannot visit people. So we are bound with local barricade. Advantage is there. Let me highlight the advantage aspect of it. Of course, the other aspect are many, especially people who are daily laborer and people who are surviving with a meager income. But the advantage side is that we know each other better in terms of locality. So this may be another possibility. For example, we identify 18 different kinds of human trafficking in Bangalore, according to the report I submitted, in the name of Northeast Solidarity, to the Ministry of Home Affairs. Human trafficking has so many faces. It can be cheating, it can be harassment, sexual harassment, non-payment of wages. So many other things are involved. So therefore, human trafficking can be only one out of the 18, but we can also say that all the other problems can be under the umbrella of human trafficking as well. So therefore, our campaign is safe migration, I would say, because we cannot stop migration, because our state government cannot give enough employment. Certainly there will be migration. Let it be. Let our people go out for education, for employment. I know that many people are forming a family, one or two children they are surviving very well if they are lucky. So therefore, a lot of opportunity is there as well. So migration cannot be stopped, but how can we make safe migration? So then, how do we, for example, Sister Rose was also mentioning about how agriculture, one of the main source of economic and livelihood for the rural people, are no longer attractive. How can we improve? This may be only one way. There are many, many other ways. Like in other cities, how much they are yearning to get vegetable, fresh vegetable, organic vegetable, exotic vegetables from Northeast. We can certainly promote. We can improve in various ways by giving training, packing, labeling, preserving, so many other things. We can also make some progress in that way. I think that Father Tom and people who are in Guwahati are much more active in various ways because you are in the central area, the departure center. That's why the issues are much more higher than compared with the other areas. So your coordination in this way is so important. The other day I talked with Father Tom very seriously about vegetable and other food items. For example, Father Tom said that most of the good fishes from Brahmaputra River did not go to Northeast. It goes to West Bengal, Bihar, Orissa. So notice people are only eating the lower quality. Yesterday also I bought fish, rahu fish, which we pay 150 rupees in Bangalore. We are paying 300 rupees. That is also the tail area. The good part is already over. So I got only the tail. I pay 300 rupees for a kg. That is considered to be the low quality. Of course, I'm happy about it because only on Friday we can get it. But good quality of anything that can be channelized in a better. How do we start that? Notice bazaar also, so that everything can be interconnected. So therefore, I think we really have to have a think tank team like us. And of course, our common we may not have a common problem. Some are specific problem. So how do we coordinate better? It is amazing. For example, why don't we get any women activists from Meghalaya? Where are Tripura? Where are Manipur? Where are Arunachal? Sikkim? Where are they? The same people who are committed to are coming back. How do we network better? Because I'm sure that even in Shillong, there are many NGOs who are working in a very different way, who are working very hard. Because from Bangalore, we contacted them. Well, but I don't know why. Are they not interested in regional issue? They are only interested in national issue, or they are not interested in local issue. Those are the few comments I would like to make by way of response. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Riniralte, for the response you gave and also for the experience and the story which you shared. I'm very sorry that you got only the tail of the fish. I will tell you where to buy the good ones, okay? Okay, Father Tom, what should be the next, should we take a question and answer or any suggestions from the viewers we have? Like, Kimmy, are you still there? Kimmy Caravan, Kimmy, she's a freelance journalist. I asked her to attend the meeting.
Yes, I'm here.
Do you have anything to say with regards to your experience?
I don't have much to say, but I am very glad that I got to attend this session. It has been very informative for me, and I'm looking forward to more sessions. And I got to know a lot about, I didn't know that there was human trafficking problems in the Northeast, and it made me much more aware about this problem, and I'm very glad that.
Okay, thank you, Kimmy. Any other viewers want to say? Dr. Roger has left. He has another important meeting to attend. Like we said, Father Tom, yes.
Yeah. Thank you. I must thank all the presenters and those who presented, and also the Dr. Rini and then Advocate Rosalind for conducting this webinar. And as many said, we were not very much aware of what was happening. Well, we said it is there everywhere, but then you made us think, and I am sure in the days to come, people will be more proactive. As Dr. Rini was telling about the 18 types of human trafficking, we will be we will be cautious. And I would like to congratulate all of you and also the others who joined us for this meeting. And I have one or two information to share. There is a WhatsApp group that is specific to human trafficking issues in Mizoram. And Dr. Rini and Rosalind, they are part of it. Please contact and strengthen our work and strengthen our network. And there is also a regional and a national group of people who are connected with the anti-human trafficking issues in India. Most of them are from Northeast, and they are spread in different parts of India. As Dr. Rennie said, we are quite comfortable at Bangalore, but other cities, the situation is quite different. So we have already a network. Then there is a Facebook page that is exclusively to help people who are taken into human trafficking, and it is called the Set Them Free Network. It is a network of different NGOs groups who are working in the Northeast, and so that is a piece of information. And then many of the suggestions that are given, I am sure will be taken up, because I see many of the church leaders were there. And then one advantage with the UCFNE is that we have the top Christian leaders of Northeast India attending and being part of this seminar. And with the God's help and with their cooperation, we move ahead. And then, as many of you said, our work will continue till every girl, boy, child of Northeast is safe. Thank you very much. And I don't know whether if there is any questions to ask, any suggestions. I think we can give a few minutes for any such interventions. Over to Rosalind.
Okay, thank you so much, Father Tom. The floor is open for any questions from the viewers.
Ms. Rosalind, I think we can go ahead with the next
Yes, we will go
program.
ahead, Father. Okay. Okay, now we shall invite Reverend W.C. Kongwir, moderator, PCI Meghalaya, to say the benediction.
Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, Reverend. Yes, Reverend.
Okay, at the very outset, I would like to congratulate all the participants in this evening, especially when we talk about human trafficking with respect to Mizoram context. I'm very glad that I've been very much close with Mizoram friends. And I have been up to Champai with the Mizoram friends, and we know the proximity between the border from Champai to Myanmar. We are very much really bit concerned when we talk about the refugee problems from Myanmar. So we hope and we pray that the government of Mizoram will find a suitable way of dealing, especially with regard to these refugees from Myanmar. So we are a bit concerned about this incident these few months back. Yeah, I want to congratulate all the resource persons, Dr. Rokum, your experience, especially in Singapore, with that girl from Mizoram, and also with Ms. Lauren Felly, the case you have mentioned to us about that poor girl of 14 years of age has been a very sad story. So we are very much enriched with all these inputs from our ladies from Mizoram. And also, as what Dr. Rini has mentioned, I feel it's very important, this network. With regards to Bangalore, Delhi, I think so far we are in touch with our friends. But I think we still lack with regards to Mumbai or Chennai. Also, I don't know, Father Tom, if you can link together with us in the Northeast, especially with Mumbai and Chennai, and together with other big cities as well. Because one of the factors that Dr. Rini has mentioned is migration. It's very hard because of this unemployment issue and problems. We can't stop this migration of young people to big cities, which we don't know whether they are for good services or otherwise. So all these areas of concern, we can still continue to work and find out what strategies or prevention we can do, be with the NGOs or the government together with the church. I'm very glad that Sister Rose Paite, your presentation this evening is beautiful, especially when you bring out those points about city life of young people, lack of proper education, and most of all, the children of broken homes, which are very relevant, especially to people in our all the states in here in Northeast India, and what we can move or how to prevent. As we all know, prevention is better than cure. So we are very glad that we thank that we have this beautiful evening, and we pray that Sister Rose will continue to be engaged with us. And we are very glad that we know you and we really appreciate the hard work we are doing up till this day. So all these beautiful stories that we came to know, we congratulate the moderator, Ms. Rosalind, with your work, and we will continue to engage in future also with more inputs from our friends, those who work with the NGOs, together with the church here in Northeast India. So with these few words, once again, we congratulate all the participants and those who are joining with us this evening till we meet the next time. So shall we close the meeting with prayer? Okay. We thank you, Lord, for this beautiful time of meeting and discussing and sharing together the beautiful work that you have given to each one of us, how to spread the good news among the people of Northeast India, and also how to deal with this problem that lies before us. Dismiss us with your blessing, that the love of God the Father, the grace of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and the abiding hope of the Holy Spirit will abide with each one of us, and yes, with all God's children all over the world, now and forever. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, thank
Thank you
you.
so much, everyone.
Thank you, Reverend Kongvir. As I was just telling, Reverend Kongvir is the present moderator of PCI and one of the biggest church in Mizoram and in Meghalaya and several
Manipur.
places of
Manipur and Assam.
yes, yeah, and so
Tripura.
we are yeah,
Tripura also.
Oh,
yeah,
Tripura also. Oh, yes.
Tripura
Yeah.
also.
Tripura
Yeah,
Synod is also there.
yeah. So the message is well taken. I must say that in all these exercises from last year, Reverend Kongvir has never missed any of the seminars.
Oh,
I must
great,
appreciate.
wonderful.
Yeah, I must appreciate. So you see the commitment of our leaders, the churches in Northeast India. We are committed to end human trafficking, and I would like to inform you that human trafficking in Mizoram do not end with this seminar. We need to work. We need to
Yes,
do networking.
we
And
will
how do we do
cooperate.
that?
Yes.
How do we do that? Please keep in contact and keep in contact with us and with the and we will be able to reach out to people. I am also happy to say that we have established contacts with the people in Singapore, in Malaysia, in Australia, and in the Gulf. If our girls are taken there, we will get rescued. And this, I am happy to say this because from last year onwards, we realized that it is not enough that we have seminars, but we need to rescue. It is a very difficult work. But can tell you, we have rescued a number of our people from the rest of from abroad. So if they are taken to any of these places, please get in contact with us. We will do our best. And I must say that next week we will have on another stage, and we will discuss specifically what is happening there. And I must also thank the recording secretary. And recording secretary for today is Mr. Karthik Jain from MLC College. Although he is not here today,
Kartik, are you there?
Mr. Jain, I think we can
Okay,
hear a
okay,
last
very
word
good.
from him. And I would request Rosalind and Dr. Rini, if you send
Okay, okay. Father Tom, we cannot hear
and
you.
we can give. Oh, sorry, sorry. If you get the report ready as early as possible, then we can get the highlights of today's and I think that is very important.
Definitely, Father.
Over
I'll
Yes,
do
to
it right away.
Rosalind. Yeah.
yes,
Okay,
yes. Okay, okay. Thank you so much, especially our three resource persons for today's meeting. They were informed on such a short notice, but it was very informative, quite powerful, very insightful, very educational. Thank you so very much. Okay, and thank you for UCFNEI, NEC, and uh, NES and HFC for initiating this meeting. Mizoram, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
See
much.
you next Friday.
Kong beer.
Yes, yes, really.
Wukongir, how are
Yes,
you?
I'm
Oh
fine, thank you.
no.
Yeah, nice to meet like this.
Ah, I'm
Okay,
having dinner. I'm leaving.
is it?
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, enjoy
Thank you
your
all.
dinner.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Okay.